Of the Mishawaka Common Council for Monday, September 18th, 2023 will please come to order. Good evening. We're happy to see so many fans of good government, although I suspect there are more fans of the Mayor's Youth Council in attendance than anything else, but we welcome you nevertheless. Those of you who are in attendance, if you would, please take a moment and check your cell phones to make sure that you have placed them on silent or vibrate. And we are once again live streaming this evening's meeting, so we welcome those who are participating remotely. Members of the public participating remotely are asked to place their microphone on mute during the meeting, with the exception of any public hearing. At the appropriate point in the public hearing, I will invite comments, or I will invite the public to unmute their microphone for purposes of submitting such comments as they may wish to make, one person at a time. All persons wishing to make public comments will be asked to first state their name and address for the record, and after completing the comment, members of the public are once again asked to place their microphone on mute, and we thank all of you for your cooperation this evening. At this time, if you would, please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Hazen?
Here.
Mr. Belovich?
Here.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Here.
Mr. Benicki?
Here.
Mr. Emmons?
Here.
Mrs. DeMade?
Here.
Mr. Compton?
Here.
Mrs. Volker?
Here.
Mr. Hicksonbach?
Here. Approval of the minutes of our regular meeting of September 11th, 2023. Are there any additions or corrections? Then hearing none, the minutes stand approved as received from the clerk's office. Petitions, communications, remonstrance, and memorial.
Yes, Mr. President, we have the swearing in of the Mayor's Youth Council.
Mr. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President, council members. Dave Wood, Mayor, here to swear in our future tonight. That is our Mayor's Youth Advisory Council. I consider it to be my most important initiative, and the thing that we try to do best that is not commonly done is to educate our youth specifically about local government, the services that we provide, and our Mishawaka hometown that we love so much. And so this youth council, which we started almost 14 years ago, we've got about 250 alumni, and we typically try to average around 30 or so council members, and this year we slightly exceed that. These kids will give to Mishawaka far more than we give to them. And you don't have to look far to see all of the impact that these kids make on our community. 3 years ago, they designed Heroes Park, former Hums Park. It is one of our most popular parks today. It's the first of its kind, a teen park designed by teens for teens that you will find anywhere. It was so successful that it was named the Project of the Year by our association, Accelerating Indiana Municipalities. Then, when we were building this building, we thought that it was important that they have some space in it. And so we let them design that space, and they did an outstanding job. So now it's not uncommon that you'll see kids coming into City Hall, into a government building, to do things like homework or just to chill out a little bit. And I love that about a government building, and especially our hometown approach to government here in Mishawaka. So how do you top these things? Well, last year we decided to give the kids a little piece of property on site here on property to design whatever they wanted to design on the corner of First and Main Street. And they came up with a very creative and unique pocket park. And so that is now currently under construction. You can see pictures of it as you enter into our chambers here. And not only did they come up with the creative plans, but they went out and raised the money, $50,000 plus, which got matched by the state of Indiana. So these kids are doing some outstanding things. We also will have them to do some community service. And so I would imagine that tonight they will probably continue their Thanksgiving food drive that they've done, which has fed over 1,000 Mishawaka families Thanksgiving meals on one of the most important holidays of the year. Then we will begin our education process. We'll take them through every department, make sure that they know how our services run. They'll get the opportunity to meet our public servants, and they'll get a little hands-on with the things we do. Our last visit was to the Electric Training Center, where we stuck them up in a bucket truck. We had them fixing transformers. We had them operating heavy equipment. This is education Mishawaka style, and I'm happy that we are able to provide it. And I love that our staff is passionate about giving it. They love it when these kids come and visit them. Of course, we feed them well. We're going to swear them in. We will treat this as it is an actual governing body. We will swear them in with the same oath that I take, that you all take, and they will run their meetings like you run yours with Robert's Rules of Order. This year, an exciting new aspect of it is that they will have a treasurer's report and an account in city budget that they will manage. And so they will report on that, and they will act as a fiscal body, much like you do. And so I'm very excited about that this year. It's a 2-year program. Tonight is election night, so we'll have some kids running for president, for vice president, for treasurer, for secretary. And so hopefully they've got their speeches ready to go. But this group of kids, we have from 3 high school, actually 4 high schools. We have Mishawaka High School, Marion High School, Penn High School, and South Bend St. Joe High School, who has a Mishawaka resident attending there. So couldn't do this program without the help of a lot of people, really. Business owners, community members, parents. Certainly want to thank our parents for getting kids here, making sure that this is a priority in their life. But also want to thank my staff. So Krista Neighbor is my executive assistant. She has taken the ball and ran forward with it in an outstanding way. Debbie Gregg in my office, who coordinates a lot of our meetings. Certainly my wife, Jamie Wood, who this is her passion. And she is as responsible for this program as I am. And so I want to thank her for that. And this year, we have an alumni coming back out of retirement to serve in an official capacity as our mentor, Parker Norris. I'm going to swear him in first and get him going. You may know Parker, seen him around. You know his dad for sure. He's a Mishawaka fireman. But Parker loves Mishawaka, first and foremost. And that's what I love about him, too, is that not only does he love his community, but he gives back to it in so many ways. He's doing a documentary right now on Mishawaka High School football stadium. That's pretty cool. You'll see him all around the high school with a camera, usually, documenting, recording, doing some PR stuff. But he has been a mentor for our Pocket Park project, and now he's going to step up and be a mentor for our kids, and that's each and every meeting we have. So I want to thank you for allowing us the time to swear in these kids. And when I say that these kids are our future, they are absolutely our future. We will hire from these kids, this group of kids. They will be public servants, I have no doubt about it. Some of these kids may be our elected officials in the coming years. And so we've been recognized as kind of a best practice around the state of Indiana and beyond. We have so many other communities calling us frequently, trying to figure out what it is we're doing and trying to copy it. And so, so far, we still are the program, I think, that is in high regard, so much so that the Lieutenant Governor and her department, the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority, last year called us and asked if one of our youth council members could serve on their Affordable Housing Task Force. So one particular student has stepped up to do that. And I think it is the coolest thing in the world that not only has he committed himself to doing that, which involves some travel, but President Carter, who also happens to be a fan of affordable housing, actually built his house. And so he has a pretty special connection with that issue and knows a little bit about it. And Nish is here tonight, so I just want to give him a little special call out. And again, these kids could be doing anything else, and quite frankly, several are tonight, whether it's football practice, soccer practice, whatever. But these kids have agreed to make this a priority for Mishawaka. So thanks to them, thanks to their parents for allowing them to serve Mishawaka in this capacity. We appreciate you very much. And so with that, let's start the swearing. I'm glad we have a big council chambers now because we've packed it up pretty good tonight. So, all right, we'll start with Parker. Ready? All right.
Okay.
Raise your right hand.
Okay. Okay.
All right, raise your right hand
Yes.
and repeat after me.
All right.
I, Parker Norris,
I, Parker Norris,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
did you say that again?
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and the Constitution of the State of Indiana,
and that I will observe
and that I will observe
and obey
and obey
the laws and ordinances
the laws and ordinances
of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana,
of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
perform and discharge
perform and discharge
the duties incumbent upon me
the duties incumbent upon me
as an alumni volunteer
as an alumni volunteer
of the Mayor Dave Wood Youth Advisory Council,
of the Mayor Dave Wood Youth Advisory Council,
fairly and honestly,
fairly and honestly,
and to the best of my skill and ability.
and to the best of my skill and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask my wife to come up, and then we will now swear in our youth council members. So I will ask that they all come up here and stand before the council and before our city seal. Okay, first, we're going to swear you in, and then secondly, we're going to call your name individually. Actually, we should do that now, shouldn't we? No, my mistake. So, Addison Bruce. Eliana Marshall. Anna Yoder. Ariana Rice. Audrey Womley. Anna Fox, or Ava Fox. Brady Fisher. Daniel Phillips. Ellie Adams. Ellis Kaplan. Ethan Cunningham Gloucester. Jan Spezak. Jocelyn Dufowski. Joe Cookwood. Jojo Murphy. Josephine Phillips. Kate Gradeless. I read something about you in the South Bend Tribune? Yeah. Set some pretty impressive records here lately, haven't you? Cross country. Outstanding job. London Duval. Luke Ventura. Lydia Choi. Lydia Shelby. Mackenzie Finn. Margaret Copens Clark. Nish. Ariana Pierce. Patricia Kirk. Peyton Moorman. Prescott Lomoff. Braden Sutherland. Sheridan Holoco. Sophia Hoover. Ty Caruso. All right. Ready to be sworn in? All right. Please place your right hand, well, so we'll start with the swearing in, and then once we're done, walk over to, it would be your right, my left, and Mrs. Wood will give you a hand. And then they proceed. So, all right, place your right, raise your right hand, and please repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Indiana. And that I will observe and obey. The laws and ordinances of the city of Mishawaka. And that I will faithfully perform. And discharge the duties. Incumbent upon me. As a member of the Mayor Dave Wood Youth Advisory Council. Fairly and honestly. And to the best of my skill and ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. President, for indulging us this opportunity and for opening up your agenda so that we can take care of this most important business. So thank you very much.
Our pleasure, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, and to all the others who were involved in making this happen. Congratulations to all the new youth council members, and congratulations to their parents and family members as well. So please let us know if there's anything that we can do to help as you move forward with the year and continue to do exciting things. Now, with that, there usually is some work that the Mayor's Youth Council has to do after they're sworn in. You don't just get to rest on your laurels. Now you have to roll up your sleeves and get to work, right? And my strong suspicion is that some of the parents may have a desire to try to get out and go do some things as well. So we'll take a 5-minute break or so, and we'll dismiss the members of the Mayor's Youth Council and their family. We welcome you to stay if you'd like to, but we will not be offended if you go ahead and leave. But congratulations once again to all of you. agenda, beginning with report of special committees. There is none. Ordinances on first reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-40. This is the civil city budget and tax levy for 2024.
Proposed ordinance 2023-40 will be assigned to the Budget and Finance Committee. This evening, we have no resolution, so we'll move into ordinances on second reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-39, an ordinance approving a 12-hour shift work schedule for the Mishawaka Police Department.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Mr. President, to the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Public Health and Safety, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2023-39, report that they have examined said matter and that in their opinion it should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll now move into second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2023-39. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, if you would, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Mr. President, council members, Dave Wood Mayor here to speak in favor of proposed ordinance number 2023-39. This has been a work in progress for quite a long time now. And in fact, beginning with the last collective bargaining agreement, which called for a study committee for 12-hour shifts. And so after the new year, we began working collectively with administration, council, and with the FOP to put together a look at 12-hour shifts and the potential impact that they could have on our community. We heard loud and clear from our public, first and foremost, that they wanted more officers on the street. We know the difficult and the dangerous job that our police do on a daily basis. Public service, public safety is public service number one. It's our top priority here in Mishawaka. And we know that we have limited resources to pay for all of our services. And so we began looking creatively at how we could accomplish all of these goals. And so it took a pretty good effort, and I am proud to say that this solution here tonight, I think, is a good one for, first of all, our officers who are providing our most essential public service, standing in the way between us and harm, and it rewards them for not only that service, but also for potentially working more hours in the year. This will put more officers on the street at any given point in time. We think that is very important to our public, and as important of a reason to do this as any other. And this is budget neutral, revenue neutral within our budget to the best of our ability to calculate. And so it will save us. And how is it revenue neutral when we're giving between $89,000 to $90,000 raises? Well, we are right now budgeted for a staff of 114. While we were at full staff plus one a year and a half ago, now we are well below that. And it takes a long time for us to hire officers and get them ready to serve. It's critical service, and we don't just hire people off the street and put them on the street. It is quite a lengthy process to get people hired and ready to go. We are also experiencing kind of a lot of retirements within the department. We don't lose a lot of officers to other communities. In fact, we gain more than we lose by far, but we're seeing an aging of our police force. And with all that has gone on at the national level, and I don't have to explain it here, it's not a very popular profession for people to want to enter into right now. It has the potential, I've spoke about it many times, to be really a statewide crisis where communities will not be able to hire police officers because they simply can't find them. So what we're seeing is kind of an arms race. It is communities raising pay to try to attract and market and put themselves in a position to hire officers. The Indiana State Police has gotten in onto that, and they've raised their salaries to really what would have been unimaginable numbers just a few years ago. And so some communities just simply won't be able to keep up. Fortunately, here in Mishawaka, we found a way to keep up and do it in a way that is responsible to our taxpayers, but rewards our police officers. In fact, after this happens, if we are fortunate enough to get it passed, our police officers will be making more than the mayor of the city of Mishawaka, all of them. Well, that's, I think, an important message to them about the service that they do. And so we want to honor that, recognize that, and so we will be going from essentially 6 shifts down to 4 12-hour shifts. Our officers will be working more hours in the day, but they will be getting more important time off for their families, including every other weekend that they will have for their families. So, and it will pay them for the extra hours that they will work within a year. And we think that this is great for the community too, because we really will have more officers on the street without losing any of the important duties that they've come to expect, and including our Detective Bureau, our Street Crimes Unit, and others that we perform here that we consider to be important work. We think that this puts the Mishawaka Police Department among the top paying in the state of Indiana. And I think that sends a message to the rest of the state too, that you know, we're willing to invest in our city in this way and in our department, and most importantly, our people in this way. I really want to thank the FOP, because we simply could not do this without them. So President Rich Freeman is here tonight. I'm sure he'll be speaking, but we could not have done this without his cooperation. Certainly our administrative team, our chiefs, they stepped up and really, you know, we went through every small detail of this, from the contract and how's this going to play out. So I want to thank all of our assistant chiefs, Nowacki, Arndt, and Department Chief Witkowski. And then I also want to thank Council President Hicksonball, who really gave a lot of time and effort and his expertise into this too, as we were putting this plan together, some very valuable insights. So with that, I would urge you to support it. This is a big ticket item. We started off this going through the FOP with a vote. Now this comes to you for your support. Will have to be built into the budget and would start on January 1 of next year. It's a big ticket item. It's the biggest ticket item we have in our budget currently, and I think that has been presented to the council in many, many years. So when you think about how this will impact our city, you know, we feel very confident about our police force, their training, their leaders, their equipment, and this right here is equal, if not a greater part of that than anything. So would encourage your approval, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any questions for Mayor Wood? Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor, if you would, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. President, honorable council members. Chief Witkowski, Mishawaka Police Department. I am here to speak in favor of proposed ordinance 2023-39. Right out of the gate, I'd like to thank the people, give credit where credit's due, and that's the Mishawaka FOP. Their members reached out to me early on, well, not early on, but late last year when we were doing contract talks. The policing is very competitive, as we all see in the last 3-4 years, and we're fighting over the same people trying to hire. So we've struggled in keeping our numbers up. We've tried advertising, we've tried signing bonuses. That did help keep us afloat, but we're still lagging behind. So they came up with this business model, this scheduling model, and actually they were tasked to do the work. We asked them to, would take it under consideration, but, you guys proved to us this is the route we want to go. And boy, did they. They come back. We got a lot of smart people on the wage and grievance team. And so I really like the business model. It's not recreating the wheel. Other departments throughout the state have a 12-hour shift. It's work for them. You can work, you're working more hours but less days, and it takes less people to perform the duties of the shifts. So I think it's a win-win, puts more people on the street. It raised our shift strength numbers up from 10 to 12. So moving forward for the community, I think you're going to see more uniform in your neighborhoods. And like I say, I can't see how we lose on that. We did a vote, FOP did a vote, majority vote, so mostly everybody was in favor with it. So we'd like to see it move forward. Any other questions? I think the mayor pretty much spelled everything out, but here to answer any questions if you like.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Witkowski? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Belovich.
Chief, what's our manning level now, and what will be the optimum level once we pass this, if it passes?
Right now, we're at 97. Tomorrow morning, I'll be at 96. Our staffing module, it will be 99, so down from 114. We'll have 80 officers in the uniform division.
Thank you.
Other questions for Chief Witkowski? Mr. Mamalante.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Chief. Just to clarify a comment you meant, you had said we're going to go from 10 to 12. Is that just minimum strength? Or is that,
Yes, that'll be our minimum strength staffing, yes.
then what will be scheduled per shift?
There'll be 20, it'll be A and B shifts, so day shift will have A and B, midnights will have an A and B. There'll be 20 officers per shift.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Mrs. Volker.
Thank you. And Chief, just to follow up on Mr. Mamalane's question, so if we go to the 12-hour shifts, we'll have 20 officers per shift. How many officers are available per shift with the system that we're using right now?
Well, there's 20 officers, so, I mean, we allow time off, vacations, random days. You have people take you sick days. Contract allows for a random day to take you one under, so that would be 11.
Okay. Thank you.
I would like to say, too, the calculation on that, on the pay increase was because of I believe it was 243 extra hours the individual officer would work. So right now, a lot of them are working over because they're mandatory to work, which I don't like mandatory people. I don't like to have hostages working. I like to have people that want to work. So that's where that money came from, based on that 243 at a double time rate would equal the pay increase.
Thank you. Other questions for Chief Witkowski? Then Chief, just to follow up on the questions from my colleagues, as you mentioned, 10 is the current minimum shift strength number in the collective bargaining agreement, correct?
Yes.
And it has been 10 for some time.
Yes.
Even though we have more officers scheduled on each shift, hasn't it been the case in recent memory that we've been much more often than not at 10 because of the inability to fill our vacancies in a timely fashion, and officers justifiably so taking the time off that they've earned and that they need,
Right.
so that we have more often than not 10 squad cars on the street?
We're always at 10. One way or another, we're going to be at 10, but we're paying overtime to get to that 10. And we're mandatoring people to work to stay at that 10 number. But on a daily basis, we're at 10 or we're below, and so we have to backfill and pay overtime to do that.
And I agree with your comments and compliments toward the FOP for the work that they did throughout this process, as well as you, the chiefs, and the administration. But as I recall it, the calculations that were done by the FOP, that I believe we all agreed with, indicated that although 12 is the minimum shift strength, that with the staffing model that would be in place, it's much more likely than not that there could be as many as 16 officers on the street on a daily basis.
That is correct, and I mean, it's going to take some time, a few months to get this ironed out. There's going to be things come up that we probably didn't foresee that we might have to deal with. But yes, once people start using their time, and I think we'll get like maybe halfway through. I mean, you know, you don't know, but yes, the prediction is we will have, we're thinking 15, 16 working per day, which will allow us to take anything above that 12 number and distribute those officers to do parks, to do special assignments. We have traffic issues throughout the city. We can assign 2, 3 officers to a traffic position, you know, for speeding or whatever. So that's the exciting part. We'll have the numbers, the people to distribute and to take care of some of our issues.
And is it your sense of it that moving to this staffing model in conjunction with the proposed increase in compensation will in fact make us that much more of an attractive employer for experienced officers from other communities who will be interested in coming to work in Mishawaka?
I really believe in that, yes, I do. And we like laterals. I mean, I like an assortment of both. I think you need both. You know, you need the young guys, you need guys with experience. So, but when you send them to the academy, you know, they're down there close to 4 months now. And so it just stretches your time out when that officer gets back, goes through his, the FTO program, where he actually counts his shift strength. You know, you're looking, oh gosh, you're probably looking a good 10 months to a year before they actually hit the street on their own and count shift strength.
So that ability to hire officers who have already been through the academy and who have already worked as police officers allows us to put them on the street that much quicker when we have a vacancy to fill, correct?
Yeah, with probably within at least 2 months at max, they count a shift strength they're working.
Fantastic. Well, again, I appreciate your leadership and your work throughout this process.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Chief Witkowski? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? If you would, please come forward.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mr. Mayor, Chief, ladies and gentlemen of the council. My name is Rich Freeman. I'm the president of Mishawaka FOP 91. I had a huge 4-hour speech planned. I know everybody wants to sit and listen to it. No, I'm kidding. I'm just going to echo a few sentiments of the mayor and the chief. First of all, I would like to thank the members of my committee as well. I could not have done this by myself. I think we had an assortment of personalities that were not necessarily in favor of this at the beginning. I think we came together to address a common issue, not only collectively for our department and our members as well, but the citizens that we all collectively represent. So I just want to thank those members as well. Just to kind of reiterate a couple points that the mayor and the chief had made, this will increase staffing on the street. To your question, sir, with the amount of time off that we're allowed to have. So if every officer were to expend their annually issued time based on their seniority and whatnot, if they expended every single minute, the average would still be 16 officers per day. You're allowed to carry over, some might choose not to do that, but on average, even if every minute was expended, it would still be an average of 16 officers a day, which is an increase of 50 to 60%. Going back to what Chief Witkowski just said, you know, the perfect mix would be a blend of both, new hires and laterals, and this is very appealing to lateral transfers. Hopefully in future negotiations, we could address some of the attractiveness of the introductory pay to attract new hires, but I think we're geared towards laterals right now, which is the faster moving or faster track of the two. From start to finish, you got an application process. It could take well over a year. You know, if we're looking to go live January 1, then we're going to need to get some laterals in here. I think that this does that. Again, not to reiterate all the points that the mayor and the chief made, I'm here for any questions. I know I wasn't here for the first reading, so I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for President Freeman? Then I will once again reiterate our appreciation to you and
Likewise.
your executive board for the work that you did. Having sat on both sides of the table as a former FOP attorney and going back, way back when, I think this was the most productive round of talks, and it really was that, talks, and more problem-solving than traditional bargaining and sliding papers across the table. So I was really impressed by the expertise that your group brought to the table, and it was the perfect blend of your thought and the administrative thought that came together for this outcome. So thank you for your leadership throughout this process as well.
I appreciate it. Likewise. Thank you.
Anything else for President Freeman? Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor? If so, please come forward.
Good evening. Just dawned on me that the council has the pleasure of dealing with a couple of jarheads from myself and Rich. So I don't know if I feel sorry for you or if that's a good thing. Eric Hyatt, President of Mishawaka Firefighters Local 360. I'm here to express my support for the proposed ordinance, which approves a new schedule and pay for the Mishawaka Police Department. As members of the IEFF 360, we stand firmly in solidarity with our colleagues in the FOP, and I know that when we need them, they'll stand for us also. And I want to extend my congratulations to Rich Freeman and his team for pulling off this remarkable achievement. And as they achieve top pay in the state, we sit 119th in the state. So the minimum local 360 will continue to provide world-class service to our citizens and to our guests. And it is our pleasure and our privilege to represent an amazing group of people in the Mishawaka Fire Department. We eagerly await our wage and contract negotiations and the chance to make up the 25% pay gap that will be between us and once again achieve parity with the police. And to quote a chief officer from another fire department, all eyes are on Mishawaka. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for President Hyatt? Mr. Compton.
Mr. Hyatt, I encourage you and your members to come up with ideas, as the police did, and I know you're aware of this, but I encourage you to do that, will give the city the ability to give the kind of increases that we're giving the police department. I don't know what those things are. Those things come out in discussions with, inside the police department and came to the bargaining table that way.
Right.
I highly encourage your group to be having those discussions right now.
Oh, we are.
And then you will become much more attractive as well.
Trust me, we are.
Thank you.
We'd like to start now or tomorrow, but we'll wait till the spring.
Well, you can do your in-house thing and get your,
we have.
get your ducks there and,
We
find them all, line them all up
yeah, we're,
and be ready. Good luck.
thank you, sir.
Thank you. Other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone in attendance this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. Is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I will call for the question.
Question?
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mr. Hazen.
Yes.
Mr. Belovich.
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti.
Yes.
Mr. Benicki.
Yes.
Mr. Emmons.
Yes.
Mrs. DeMade.
Yes.
Mr. Compton.
Yes.
Mrs. Volker.
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaum.
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0.
Thank you. We'll now move into privilege of the floor, and at this time, members of the public are invited to the podium to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor. Seeing no one, is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? Thank you. Unfinished business, of which there is none. New business, is there any new business to come before the council? Mr. Mamalenti?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a brief reminder that we'll be holding our neighborhood Twin Branch meeting, monthly meeting this Wednesday, September 20th at 7 o'clock. It is at Fire Station Number 4, and I am told that Barnaby's will be served. The 20th at 7 o'clock, Fire Station Number 4.
Thank you. Other new business? Then if there is none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
We're adjourned. Thank you.